The forest was quiet, save for the sudden impact that split the ancient pine trees like matchsticks. A sleek metallic pod, no larger than a small car, smoked softly in the dense Oregon wilderness. Inside, two alien sisters stirred from their forced hibernation. Hana opened her eyes first, her iridescent skin automatically shifting to match the deep green and brown tones of the forest floor. She was tall, lean, with sharp features that spoke of years of strict military training in her home civilization. Her younger sister Yoon groaned beside her, slowly coming back to consciousness. "We're here," Hana whispered, her fingers dancing across a small holographic interface that materialized from her wrist. The device flickered with strange symbols before translating to simple Earth English. Location: North American continent, Pacific Northwest region. Coordinates confirmed. Yoon sat up, rubbing her head. Unlike her serious sister, she looked more curious than concerned. "This is our punishment?" she asked, her voice a mix of disbelief and mild amusement. 3 years on a primitive planet? The pod's exterior began to dissolve, molecular structures breaking down to blend with the surrounding environment. Within minutes, no trace of their arrival would remain visible to human technology. Hana checked their disguise generators. 2 perfect human female forms shimmered into existence, carefully crafted to appear unremarkable. Medium height, average. Build clothing that would not draw attention in a small Pacific Northwest town. "Remember," Hana warned, "we cannot reveal our true nature. No advanced technology beyond human capabilities. No extraordinary abilities. We blend in, we survive, we complete our sentence." Their crime back home was simple yet unforgivable in their rigid society, challenging the strict social hierarchy and advocating for individual choice. The ruling council had been swift and brutal in their judgment, exiled to a primitive planet, stripped of their military ranks and social status. Yoon pulled out a small survival kit, no larger than a human wallet. Inside were minimal resources: currency converter, language processors, identity creation algorithms. Everything they would need to survive among humans. The forest around them was alive with sounds: birds chirping, small animals scurrying, the distant sound of a mountain stream. So different from the sterile, controlled environments of their home world. Here everything felt chaotic, unpredictable, almost exciting. "We'll need shelter," Hana said, her tactical mind already mapping out their immediate survival strategy and a way to generate income. Human societies require monetary resources for basic survival. Yoon nodded, but her eyes were wide with wonder. She picked up a pine cone, turning it over in her hands. "It's beautiful," she murmured. "So complex, yet so simple." Their disguise generators had given them basic knowledge of human culture, language, and survival skills. But knowledge was different from experience. They would need to learn, adapt, and most importantly, remain undetected. A distant sound caught Hana's attention, a vehicle on a nearby forest road. She grabbed Yoon's arm, pulling her deeper into the dense forest cover. "We can't be seen, not yet." As the forest began to darken with approaching evening, the 2 alien sisters huddled together, their alien technology carefully hidden, their human disguises perfectly normal. They looked like 2 young women who might have gone hiking, perhaps lost, perhaps just exploring. No one would suspect the truth. No one would know they were not human. Their first night on Earth began filled with uncertainty, a hint of fear, and an unexpected sense of possibility. Punishment, they had been told, would be miserable. But something in the forest, in the crisp air and the wild unpredictability of this planet, whispered a different promise. This might not be a punishment after all. This might be an opportunity. Hana looked at her sister, and for the first time since their exile was announced, she saw a spark of genuine excitement in Yoon's eyes. The small tech startup in Portland buzzed with activity. Hana sat quietly at her computer, her fingers moving with practiced precision across the keyboard. To her colleagues, she was just another software engineer, skilled but not extraordinary. Little did they know she was carefully mapping human technological systems, learning their complexities, Her disguise was perfect. Brown contact lenses covered her naturally iridescent eyes. Simple clothing, jeans, a plain blue sweater, comfortable shoes. Nothing that would draw attention. She had chosen this job carefully, understanding that technology sectors offered the best opportunity to blend in and gather information. Across the city, Yoon walked through the University Botanical Research Laboratory. Her white lab coat was crisp, her movements controlled. She carefully examined plant samples, her alien sensory capabilities hidden behind a mask of scientific curiosity. To her colleagues, she was just another dedicated researcher interested in plant adaptation and environmental studies. During lunch breaks, both sisters would carefully compare notes. "Humans are fascinating," Yoon would say, showing sketches of plant structures. "Their biological systems are so inefficient, yet so wonderfully adaptable." Hana would nod, sharing observations about human communication patterns. "They communicate more through emotion than pure logic. It's complicated." Their apartment was minimally furnished, more like a strategic base than a home. Advanced holographic screens would occasionally flicker with alien data, quickly disguised if anyone unexpected entered. They were cautious, always watching, always learning. Survival meant more than just hiding. It meant understanding. Hana's workplace was a typical startup environment. Young professionals, constant energy, rapid technological development. She noticed how humans collaborated, how they solved problems through collective thinking. So different from her rigid hierarchical home civilization. Her team was working on an artificial intelligence project. Each day, she would subtly guide their research, providing insights that seemed like brilliant human intuition but were actually advanced alien knowledge, carefully filtered to appear normal. Yoon's research focused on plant resilience and climate adaptation. Her alien understanding of complex biological systems allowed her to make breakthrough observations that seemed like human, scientific inspiration. Grants started coming. Publications followed. They were becoming successful. They were blending. But adaptation wasn't just about professional camouflage. It was about understanding human emotions, social dynamics, personal connections. Hana watched her colleagues' interactions, the jokes, the subtle power dynamics, the unspoken communication. So much happened beyond words. She was learning to read micro-expressions to understand the complex dance of human social interaction. Yoon found herself fascinated by human relationships with nature. In their homeworld, plants were strictly controlled, analyzed, categorized. Here, humans had a relationship with nature, sometimes destructive, sometimes nurturing, always complicated. Their communication devices, disguised as standard smartphones, would occasionally transmit encrypted messages back to their homeworld. Minimal contact, proof of survival, nothing more. Weekends were spent exploring Portland's diverse neighborhoods, the lush forests of Oregon, the bustling city streets. Each outing was a learning experience, each interaction a chance to understand more about their temporary home. They were careful, always careful. No extraordinary abilities revealed, no technology beyond human understanding displayed. Just two young professionals, seemingly ordinary, living their lives. But beneath the surface, they were gathering information, analyzing, understanding. Earth was not the primitive planet they had been told about. It was complex, messy, beautiful in its unpredictability. As months passed, something unexpected began to happen. They were no longer just observing humans. They were starting to appreciate them, to understand them, to see the potential within this seemingly chaotic species. Their punishment was becoming something else entirely, an opportunity, a discovery. The conference hall was packed with scientists and tech professionals. Hana stood near her company's presentation booth, her presentation on adaptive AI systems drawing curious looks. She was professional, calm, her alien nature carefully hidden beneath a layer of human normalcy. That's when Jay walked in. He was different from other humans Hana had observed. His eyes carried a passionate intensity, a deep commitment to environmental solutions that went beyond typical professional interest. When he approached her booth, his questions were sharp, intelligent, cutting through standard technical explanations. Most AI systems focus on efficiency, Jay said. But what about ecological impact? Hana found herself genuinely intrigued. Her rehearsed responses fell away, replaced by a real conversation about technological potential and environmental responsibility. Across the city, in a different context, Yoon was conducting a plant research presentation at the university. Dawan, a landscape architect, sat in the audience. His approach to design was unlike anything she had seen, not just about creating spaces, but about understanding how human environments could work with natural systems. When he approached her, after the presentation, his questions were artistic and scientific simultaneously. Plants aren't just decorations, he told her. They're living communication systems. Yoon was surprised, a human who understood complexity beyond surface appearance. Their initial meetings were professional, polite, structured, but something was changing. Jay invited Hana for coffee to discuss potential collaborative research. What started as a technical discussion became something more. He spoke about his work protecting forest ecosystems, about understanding technology's role in environmental preservation. Hana listened, fascinated. Her alien perspective saw the broader implications of his work. Humans, for all their apparent destructiveness, also possessed an incredible capacity for ecological understanding and restoration. Dawan's interactions with Yoon followed a similar pattern. Weekend botanical walks. Discussions about landscape design that respected natural ecosystems. Slowly, their conversations moved beyond professional boundaries. Neither Hana nor Yoon had expected emotional connections. Their mission was survival, observation, maintaining their disguise. Relationships were complications they had been trained to avoid. But human emotions were complex, unpredictable. Jay's passion was infectious. His commitment to environmental solutions reminded Hana of the best qualities of her own civilization: dedication, systemic thinking, long-term planning. But humans added something unique: emotional investment. Dawan's artistic approach to understanding nature fascinated Yoon. He saw landscapes not as static systems, but as living, breathing entities, with their own narratives and potential. Gradually, something unexpected happened. They were no longer just observing humans. They were connecting with them. Date nights were careful performances of human normality. Restaurants, walking in parks, sharing meals. But beneath the surface, something deeper was happening. Two alien sisters were discovering something their rigid home civilization had never allowed: individual emotional connection. Their communication devices continued reporting back to their home world. Routine status updates, survival confirmations. No mention of the unexpected emotional developments. Jay never suspected Hana was anything other than a brilliant software engineer with an unusual perspective. Dawan saw Yoon as a dedicated researcher, with a unique understanding of botanical systems. The city of Portland continued its rhythmic life. Tech conferences, research presentations, daily commutes. Nobody suspected the extraordinary story unfolding within their midst. Two alien sisters. Two human partners. A connection that defied interstellar boundaries. Their punishment was transforming into something neither had expected. Not isolation, not suffering, but understanding, connection, the beginning of something profound. Love, they were discovering, was not bound by planetary origins. It was a universal language all its own. The sky darkened unnaturally. A silver needle-shaped ship hung above the Pacific Northwest, invisible to standard human radar but perfectly clear to Hana and Yoon's enhanced perceptual systems. Keldarian enforcement. They had arrived. Hana's communication device, disguised as an ordinary smartphone, vibrated with a precise frequency only she could understand. The message was clear and brutal: return immediately or face complete social elimination. Jay noticed something was different. Hana's usual calm demeanor had shifted. Her movements were more calculated, her eyes scanning the environment with an intensity he had never seen before. "Something's wrong," he said one evening, watching her prepare dinner. Yoon experienced similar tension with Dawan. Her normally precise scientific movements became slightly erratic. She was planning, calculating, preparing for potential confrontation. The Keldarian ship represented more than a potential threat. It symbolized their entire civilization's rigid control system, a system that valued protocol over individual freedom, a system they had challenged and been punished for questioning. Their human partners knew something significant was happening, but they couldn't understand the full context. Jay watched Hana carefully pack specific research documents. Not random selection. Each document seemed strategically chosen. Her technical skills suddenly seemed different, more advanced, more precise. Dawan noticed Yoon's increased interest in mapping local environmental systems. Her research seemed to extend beyond standard botanical studies. She was collecting something, preparing something. The alien's true preparation was invisible to human perception. Advanced communication protocols, defensive technological systems, strategies developed over centuries of interstellar conflict. When the first Keldarian enforcement team landed in a remote forest area, they expected easy retrieval of their exiled citizens. They did not expect resistance. Hana and Yoon had been preparing, not just with technology, but with something more powerful, understanding of human potential. Their human partners were brought into a carefully managed revelation, not through dramatic declarations, but through calculated logical explanations. "We are not from this planet," Hana told Jay, her voice steady. "We came here as punishment, but we've discovered something important about your species." Dawan, surprisingly, was the first to truly understand. His landscape design skills had always been about seeing complex systems, seeing potential where others saw complexity. "You're staying," he said to Yoon. It wasn't a question. The Keldarian enforcement team represented pure technological superiority, advanced weaponry, faster-than-light communication systems, genetic modification capabilities that made human technology look like primitive toys, but they did not understand human adaptability, human creativity. The power of individual choice. Hana and Yoon's resistance wasn't just personal. It represented a fundamental challenge to their civilization's core beliefs. The right to choose. The value of individual experience over systemic control. Their preparation involved more than defensive technology. They had built a network, local scientific connections, environmental research groups, technology networks that could provide unexpected resistance. Jay's environmental research network. Dawan's landscape design community. These became unexpected allies in a conflict they didn't fully comprehend. The first confrontation happened quickly. The Keldarian ship attempted standard retrieval protocols, tractor beam technologies, communication jamming systems, standard interstellar enforcement techniques. They did not expect human ingenuity. Local communication networks suddenly became interference systems. Scientific research facilities provided unexpected technological countermeasures. What seemed like a simple alien retrieval mission became a complex technological chess match. Hana and Yoon stood together, their human partners beside them. Not as victims, not as exiles, but as defenders of a principle more important than planetary origin: the right to choose. The Keldarian ship hung in the sky, a silver threat. But something fundamental had changed. They were no longer alone. They were no longer just observers. They were defenders of a planet, of a choice, of a future they were just beginning to understand. The Oregon sky burned with an unnatural light. Silver and blue energy crackled around the Keldarian enforcement ship, its massive form casting strange shadows across the dense forest landscape. Hana stood beside Jay, her hand intertwined with his. Not a gesture of weakness, but of unified resistance. Yoon mirrored her sister's stance, Dawan's scientific mind already processing the impossible scenario unfolding before them. "We choose Earth," Hana declared, her voice carrying a frequency that momentarily disrupted the ship's communication systems. The Keldarian commander's holographic projection appeared, a tall, rigid figure representing centuries of strict hierarchical control. "You cannot refuse your civilization's decree," the projection stated coldly. But something had changed in Hana and Yoon. Their time on Earth had transformed them. They were no longer just obedient citizens, but individuals who had discovered the power of personal choice. Yoon's botanical research became their unexpected weapon. She had been studying more than just plants. She had been understanding ecological systems, adaptation mechanisms, survival strategies, knowledge that went beyond simple scientific observation. Jay's environmental network provided unexpected support. Local tech companies, research institutions, small but connected groups that could generate massive technological interference. The year. Keldarian ships' advanced systems started experiencing unexplained disruptions. Communication networks became unstable. Tracking systems failed. What should have been a simple retrieval mission was turning into a complex technological battle. Dowan's landscape design skills proved surprisingly strategic. He had been mapping local terrain, understanding ecological networks, creating digital models that now served as unexpected defensive systems. "They don't understand adaptation," Dowan said quietly. "They only understand control." The forest itself seemed to respond. Electronic interference, signal disruptions, small but consistent technological anomalies that the Keldarian systems couldn't immediately comprehend. Hana used her advanced knowledge carefully, not as a weapon, but as a strategic communication tool. She understood their civilization's weakness, a rigid belief in technological superiority that prevented true understanding. "We are offering you a different path," she communicated to the Keldarian commander. "Not rebellion, evolution." The ship's systems flickered, massive technological power confronted by something it couldn't easily categorize: human unpredictability. Yunez. Research revealed something profound. Earth's ecological systems were not primitive as their civilization believed. They were complex, adaptive, constantly evolving, a living network of incredible sophistication. The Keldarian commander realized something was fundamentally different. This was not a simple retrieval mission. This was a challenge to their entire philosophical understanding of technological control. Hours passed. The ship remained, but its aggressive posture had transformed. Now it was observing, processing, understanding. Jay understood something was happening beyond typical human comprehension. "What are you really doing?" he asked Hana. "Changing everything," she responded. The forest continued its quiet existence. Birds moved, small animals scurried. Technology battled overhead, but the ecosystem remained unchanged, indifferent to the cosmic drama unfolding. Suddenly, the ship's energy signature changed. Not retreat, not defeat, but a fundamental recalibration. The holographic commander spoke one final message. "You are no longer our citizens, but you are now our ambassadors." Then silence. The ship disappeared, leaving no trace. Hana looked at Jay. Yoon looked at Dowan. Their human partners stood beside them, understanding something profound had happened. They had not just survived. They had transformed an entire civilization's perspective. As the Oregon sunset painted the sky, 4 beings, 2 human, 2 alien, stood together, not as separate species, but as something new.